The story starts with three neighborhood friends, Tuck, Reginald, and Alex, who are documenting themselves to remember the good times before they leave town. Tuck sets up the camera as Reginald, also known as Munch, begins his interview. He describes himself as someone who does not have a lot of friends and says his gratitude to the camera, which his friends will be viewing someday in the future. They are the reason why their lives in their town were amazing and worth it. When it is Alex's turn for the interview, he plays around and tries to avoid voicing out how he really feels. But Tuck knows that he is upset about leaving the place. The three of them have been documenting their adventures through the years. Tuck expresses how much he loves his friends and how depressing it is that they all need to move because their neighborhood will soon be demolished for a freeway construction. All of them are upset about it, but being young, there is nothing they can do. In the middle of his recording, Tuck receives a call from one of his friends, and immediately he stops recording. It is the beginning of their out-of-this-world adventure during their last week together. Alex's phone stops working and would only show static. Tuck goes to Alex's place to try and figure out what is happening, when his phone also stops working. They receive a call from Munch on the telephone and discover that his and his family's phones are still working. Munch heads over to Alex's place and shows them three working phones. Each of them walks to different areas of the yard, holding one phone each, and sure enough, all the phones stop working. Tuck believes that Alex's location makes the phones go haywire. They search through the internet for a long time and end up with nothing until they find a map that is shaped like static. A construction worker knocks at Tuck's house, asking about a phone or some device that makes the people's phones go haywire. Being already upset with the construction that will take place in their neighborhood, Tuck tells him that his phone is fine before closing the door on him. He complains about it to his parents, but they are too preoccupied to care. His brother dismisses him, reiterating that there is nothing he can do. Tuck video calls his friends, realizing that the map is a map to the desert. He thinks that it is connected to the construction people, maybe a secret headquarters, for their true intent. Munch is reluctant to follow it, being too far away, but Tuck is determined. He forms a plan to go there with his friends that coming Friday to find out what it is all about. He has his hopes up that going to that place will somehow stop the construction of the freeway. Alex agrees with him, while Munch is a bit hesitant, but still agrees with him. Tuck is delighted that he is able to convince his friends. The three discuss their plan in the school cafeteria the next day. They rehearse their alibis for their parents, and Tuck shows them a collection of cameras. Their main camera will be a camcorder, then a spy camera attached to a pair of glasses, and an action cam that they can attach to their bikes. Friday finally comes. Tuck asks his parents for permission with his rehearsed alibi. His family is having a lively conversation at the dining table and barely pays him attention. He tries telling them the truth about going to a desert in the middle of the night, but they are too busy to pay attention and just agree with him absent-mindedly. He then tries to say exaggerated things to try and get their attention, but they still do not mind him. He leaves the house, visibly disappointed. Tuck arrives at Alex's house to pick him up. Alex asks for his parents' permission, and they agree with him quickly as they are too preoccupied with packing their things for the move. The two of them head to Munch's place on their bikes. They go up to his room quietly and give him a big scare. Munch prepares his phone for their night trip. He rewires all their landlines, in which whoever's parent calls, it will always be his phone that receives it. Then he will just have to pretend to be his mother picking up the call. He blurs out his alibi to his mother and heads out before she can ask any question. Tuck and Alex start pedaling out of the driveway, but stop short when they notice that Munch is not following them. Munch feels bad for lying to his mom after knowing what she had been through with his father lying to her. Alex becomes upset with him for not telling them how he feels about it earlier. Tuck persuades him by saying that this is their last night together and their only chance, since the neighborhood will be gone. Munch finally agrees to go on with their adventure. They ride their bikes to the desert indicated by the map until the sun goes down. It is a long way from their neighborhood. They reach the edge of the desert. All of them feel scared of being by themselves at night, but no one wants to admit it. They ride onto a dry shrouded area where Alex's phone display starts to change. It indicates a path to a location that he thinks they should follow. Tired from their afternoon journey, they decided to just carry their bikes for a while, until the wild grass becomes too high and it is inconvenient to bring their bikes to the destination. The three of them continue on foot until they reach a series of old towers. The signal on Alex's phone becomes stronger, and they run to where it is pointing them. They find a broken device, half buried in the ground. Alex picks it up to inspect it. Tuck sees it and realizes they went that far for garbage. He instantly loses his mood and wants to stop filming. Alex becomes frustrated about his attitude, saying that Tuck only cares about views on his YouTube channel. Munch tries to calm them down, but his phone suddenly rings. Alex's mom calls him, and he instantly panics. Alex makes him answer the phone, but all his preparations on pretending to be his mom are lost, and she just repeatedly says she cannot come over to their place before hanging up. Munch puts the device inside his backpack before they decide to head out. In the distance, they see a group of men that seem to be searching for something. They ignore them and get back to their bikes as quickly as they can. They ride back on the road, all despondent. All of a sudden, Munch gets off his bike and throws his backpack. He gets away from it, saying that something moved inside. Alex checks it out, but when he is about to open it, something screeches inside, making him drop the bag back to the ground. Tuck makes fun of them and decides to inspect the bag himself. He rummages through the backpack and sees the inanimate device. This only confuses him more. Alex looks at it and tries to make a beep sound. The device responds to him by making a noise. The three of them are all surprised. Tuck tries beeping, but the device does not respond to him. It seems like the thing only responds to Alex. Alex beeps at it again, and the device lights up. He drops it in a panic, and they jump away from it. When they calm down a little, Alex picks it up again when it starts imitating his phone ringtone. Suddenly, Tuck's phone glitches, and a new map is generated. Munch's phone starts showing a 3D model of a device of some kind, and Alex's phone starts to record on its own. The boys decide to follow the new map, which leads them to an old barn. There are some noises coming from a house beside the barn, so they have to be very quiet and sneaky when entering. Something suddenly flies off from a tractor at a super fast speed and attaches itself to the old device they have. Instantly, another map is generated, and the device opens its shell, showing something like a robotic eye. Tuck realizes that the device sees through Alex's phone. Munch starts panicking, saying that it knows all about them, since it can access their phones and everything. He also points out that there are clearly people looking for it. Tuck and Alex ignore his concerns. Instead, they try a way to communicate with the device. They are delighted when the device talks back to them through beeps. The three of them start asking several questions about the device, and they find out a lot about it. The thing came from outer space and is injured. Now, it is here on Earth trying to fix itself and build a spaceship with the help of the boys. All of them are excited to help the device. Even Munch starts to feel relieved after they question the device. They follow the new map again, and it leads them to a pawn shop. Tuck is in disbelief that the thing wants to go here of all places. They enter the pawn shop, and another device starts flying off at high speed and attaches itself to the device. The boys hurriedly run out of the pawn shop, trying to apologize to the owner, and head to a dark alleyway. They inspect the device, and something that looks like a tiny robotic owl, with glowing blue eyes and lines across its body, detaches itself from the old rusty device. They are all amazed when they discover that it can float. They introduce themselves one by one using Alex's phone. Alex is already gentle and delighted with it. Tuck feels shy about introducing himself, even though he is the one eager to capture every moment, and Munch is already becoming friendly. After brainstorming, they finally decide to call the thing Echo. Echo sounds happy, but immediately loses its vision because of the damage it took. Alex puts Echo back into its casing, in hopes that it can recover and recharge. A new map points to another location, which leads them to someone's house. Munch is reluctant to go through with their mission. It is a crime to enter someone's house without their permission, after all. Alex tries for the doorknob, and discovers that it is unbelievably unlocked. They enter the house as quietly as they can. Inside, a couple is arguing with their daughter about some dress. The boys are too focused on their goal, and follow the indicated location upstairs. It turns out that it is Emma's house, their classmate. Tuck tried getting her number earlier at the cafeteria that day, but was too shy to ask. They enter her room and start looking for the thing that Echo needs. They try hiding the noise of the object zooming around with the blankets and pillows. Unfortunately, Emma is walking up to her room, and is flabbergasted to see her pillows in shreds. Tuck and Alex do not want to tell her about what is happening, but Munch blurts it out to her, thinking that it can save them the trouble of making a believable excuse. At first, Emma is not going to believe him, but she sees Alex stuffing Echo back into the backpack, and she tells them that she wants to join them. Alex turns her down with no hesitation, and the three of them leave the house. Another map is generated, which leads them into a bar. While planning on how they can enter, they bump into the construction crew, who start asking them questions about them being outside so late, and specifically asking whether they went to the desert. Alex and Tuck deny it, but Munch, being too nervous, accidentally confirms it. The construction crew start to become more suspicious of them and approach them more closely. Emma suddenly walks up to the boys and pretends to be in distress. The construction crew back away from her, being too problematic, and leave them be. Emma leads them inside the bar, but Munch is stopped by a lady who thinks that he is her friend's son. While the people are fussing over him, Alex searches around for the item that Echo needs. Immediately, another item flies off that leaves massive destruction inside the bar. The group quickly runs out as Echo starts floating inside the bag. Emma is amazed at seeing it for the first time. She starts asking Echo questions. This confirms that someone intentionally crashed Echo's spaceship, and the construction crew is searching for it. The next map leads them into an arcade. It is already closed, since they are out late, but the door is thankfully open. They start searching inside, and they are surprised when two objects came flying, and combine to attach to the device that Echo is making. It turns out that it is not a spaceship Echo is making, but rather, the key to its spaceship. The arcade alarms go off after all the destruction, and a guard comes running in. Tuck, Munch, Emma, and Echo are all able to evade him, but Alex gets caught. Emma runs back inside the arcade and gets him out, with Echo's help. He feels that his friends left him behind. Tuck tries explaining that they did not leave him, and that they are just outside the arcade waiting for him. Alex is having none of it, and the two of them fight. Emma and Munch have to break them up. They head to dinner to cool their heads off. Tuck admits that he freaked out about the security guard, and apologizes. Alex forgives him. Suddenly, the key disassembles itself when a construction crew member walks in. They hurriedly hide the pieces inside the bag as the man walks up to them. The man is already suspicious of them. He takes out a device that detects foreign objects, and it immediately shows a strong signal coming from the backpack. He forcibly grabs the backpack and escapes in a white pickup truck. Without hesitation, Munch runs after him and swings himself on the back of the pickup truck before it drives off. His friends are all stunned for a moment by what he did, but immediately follow the truck on their bikes. However, being faster than their bikes, it is not long before they lose sight of the truck. They receive a call from Munch, but his signal is too bad to make anything out. Tuck decides to ask his brother, Marcus, for help. They head to a house party where he said he will be that night. The cops arrive, so Alex and Emma have to hide while Tuck looks for his brother. Alex and Emma find Marcus passed out in the bathtub. They take his car keys, and the three head out. Meanwhile, Munch is in the back of the truck, scared for his life. The pickup finally stops, and the driver discovers him on the back. Tuck drives them back to their neighborhood to try and track the construction men. They stop at the groundbreaking site and enter the fenced-up area. What they discover is a series of container trucks set up to be laboratory facilities. They enter one container truck and discover that it is a monitoring room. They see Munch in distress, being interrogated about their journey. On another screen, Echo is being dissected by a group of scientists. Emma hears someone coming and alerts her friends. They are about to run out when Tuck gets caught. The one in charge brings them to his office and tells them what is going on. Echo's spaceship entered the Earth's atmosphere, and their team shut it down. The spaceship crashed into their neighborhood. They have been locating it ever since, believing that it will be valuable for mankind. He forces them to cooperate in finding the location of the ship, using the maps that kept appearing on their phones. The three are reunited with Munch, and they are put into the back of a van. They travel some distance away from their neighborhood until the next morning. They reach a junkyard, and the team of construction men brings Echo out. They are finally let out of the truck. Alex immediately runs to Echo, followed by his friends. Echo is already weak from all the tests the scientists did on it. His system is starting to shut down. Alex calls out to him, to no avail. The construction team is about to call it a day. Munch tries talking to Alex. Suddenly, another piece of the item starts moving towards the key Echo is building. More pieces fly off, finishing the key and recharging Echo's system. Echo blocks the team by creating a wall of scrap pieces. They take a car and drive back to their neighborhood, but the construction team follows them quickly. They decide to go on foot when they reach the neighborhood. They know it better than the construction team does, so it will be easier for them to lose their pursuers. They follow the map leading to Echo's ship, which leads to Alex's house. The key suddenly buries itself in the ground. It turns out that the huge ship is somewhere in the neighborhood. Alex enters the hole in the ground and reaches the spaceship. He places the key in its place, and Echo starts activating the ship. His friends enter the ship and are amazed when they see the holographs of their adventures with Echo that night. Alex finally says goodbye to Echo, and the four of them leave the ship as it takes off. The ship disassembles itself as it unearths, to avoid huge damage to the neighborhood, and resembles itself in the sky. No one in the neighborhood notices the huge loud ship, except for them. The ship flies away so quickly that it is already gone by the time the people get out of their houses. Even though the neighborhood demolition did not continue, Alex's family still decides to move out. Munch's family did the same. They say their bittersweet goodbyes to each other.